So my advice, sincere brotherly advice to you all is, please learn, learn and learn. And once you have learned, mastered the learning part, then you go to the field and apply it. You will not become successful instantly. Because our business, as Mr. Ligigao has said, is simple, but at the same time, it is a lot of hard work. It's tough. And that is the reason why there is a certain percentage of people who are getting really good money. Not many people. In the Gulf or in Malaysia or in Canada or USA or in whichever country you go to, there are few people who are getting it. Why? The question which I asked earlier was, what is needed when you enter into DXN? What is needed is education. Talim chahiye. Forget about your past education. Now when people ask me, what do you do? I don't talk about my past 30 years in the field of aviation. I say that I help people into becoming a business person, into becoming an entrepreneur. And in Gulf it is very easy to talk to people because everybody has come to make money. What is it called, money in Malaysian language? Wit. Dui. So we call it a dui or a paisa, a money, whatever you talk. It is the money which talks. Right? It is the money that you have to get at the end. And the money you will only get if you become professional. Talk about the products. Enough information is there in the internet. So prior to that, yesterday also I was talking and today also I was talking. Two things you have to learn. And I have seen, ordinary people, when they got hand into these two areas, one is technology. Technology, very simple technology called computer, internet. The second thing is, after technology is, you have to learn that technology, and most of the technology in the internet, it is in English. And this language, I wish 100% people could understand me. English is one universal language. If Tina comes from Australia or Osler comes from Philippines, or if Hassan Khattari comes, he will either speak in Arabic or will speak in English. He cannot speak in Malay language or Tamil. Right? Not possible. So one language which will bring you to that level, which will bring you to that level of professionalism, and whatever you want, you will inshallah get it. Provided you all start learning. Don't look at your bonus. It is 10 ringgit or 100 ringgit or 200 ringgit. People ask me, and when we were sitting at the back, myself and my wife, some people did ask that question. You know what is that question? How much are you making? And before I could say anything, my wife said it. She said, from a woman, never ask her age. From a man, never ask the money, how much salary he is getting. But you can say this thing, I am in a multi-billion-dollar business. And I'm heading towards that to become a millionaire. Forget about how much I'm making. You ask me one question, how to make that money, whatever you are making. To the senior people, you see, when Mr. Ligi Kao Tajuddin is walking in, people will start talking. Yeah, look at Tajuddin, he's the man. He was a gardener and now he's making that much of money. There's a talk going on the moment you walk in. Everybody knows you by face, by your lecture or anything, but still they don't know how much money you are making. Exactly. So give that tips, those very valuable tips. How did you reach after 10 years or 12 years or whatever years? 17 years. DXN is in business in Malaysia. In Canada, it's only a few months now. In Dubai, it's about 9.5 years. We are number 3 in the world out of 45 countries, which you see in the internet. Number 1 is, last statement that I checked was, it was India. Second is Philippines. Third is Gulf. Fourth is Malaysia, right? Mexico. Imagine how many people have gone to Mexico. Just raise your hand. Anybody has gone to Mexico? Nobody? It's a beautiful country, but very poor country. I was invited there, and being a Canadian, you can go to Mexico without any visa also. They give you on arrival. Just like I came to Malaysia, I didn't have to get any visa or anything. So I just flew over there. And every place that we went to, some small towns and villages, and of course Mexico City. The same need was there. The need of health, because there are a lot of people who are suffering from different problems. And the second thing is money. These Mexican people, they cross the border and many people die. They have got all kinds of surveillance and electronic gadgetry, helicopters. You saw so many movies, I'm sure. The Mexican crossing the border, whether it's towards California or Texas or Florida or whatever. So they are, imagine, above you. And it is only 3 years that they are in business, less than 3 years. What is the advantage that you have? What is the biggest advantage that you have? Number 1, Malaysian. DXN Malaysia I'm talking about. What is that? The farm is here. So whenever anybody has got a doubt, you take him for a picnic to Jitra. Before you go, after, of course you have to call and get it coordinated and get some few people. It's a beautiful drive, beautiful road on like today, holiday. So you are very, very lucky people. People, when I was coming, people were saying, they are diamonds. They are senior diamonds. They have still not seen the farm. They just show the mushroom to everybody. This is the mushroom. which we grow in Malaysia. But more important than the farm is, that is important because seeing is believing. When you see things, you believe more. But then is the product. Products, you have how many? More than 100 you are saying, right? So you are very, very fortunate people. And to Malaysian I'm talking. You are very fortunate. The price of the product is the cheapest here. So next time I come, I would love to see Malaysia being number 1, not number 5. Because you have everything available here. And I'm sure Dr. Lim is sometime giving lecture also. Right or wrong?
Right.
Because he is here. And you have giant leaders over here who have been associated with the DXN business from such a long, long time. You know what is the beauty of our business? Mr. Lee Gao or Tajuddin might have joined more than 10 years and you are joining today. You can still cross them in both status and money. That is the power of our marketing plan. So coming back to Professor Charles King, please note down the name of the book, The New Professionals. One of the books I have written it. This is on the food part. I'm sure those who are interested to become a consumer or just want to use the product and get the health benefit, but at the same time they should be reading books. They should be buying some of the books. This is one of the books. You are what you eat. And when we were having lunch, I was looking at the menu. Most of the food, they are healthy food that you have. And God has given you the best fruits. Because you know, I've traveled a lot, I know. When I go to other countries, I just have mostly fruits. And you have all the fruits in the world. And very delicious. Even the melon that I was eating today, it was, you know, sweet. Not the melon that I have it over there, which is, you know, frozen and preservative things are there inside. So coming back to this Charles King, he said 5 things. Number 1 was what? The business has to be global and big and expanding. Number 1. He's a graduate. He's a doctor from Harvard Business School, where the prime ministers and all the rich people go, or the geniuses go. Harvard Business School. So he has written in this. Number 1 is the business has to be global. Number 1. Number 2, the business has to be unique. Number 3, the business is done in 2 ways, through product or service. Everybody agrees? The business, अगर पैसा कमाना है तो या the product like a watch or a trouser or whatever, or the service like the aircraft industry, that's a service industry. So it has to have the product, for example in our case, is purely product. The product has to be consumable, which you eat, which you drink, which you apply. That is what is required. Number 3. Number 4, the product has to be directly connected to your health. Number 4. Number 5, the product should come to you direct, through direct selling. So, are these 5 points clear? If the 5 points are clear, I'm going to now put DXN in this 5 point. Or all people, you think, number 1, is our business global? Is it expanding? It is expanding. And it is big. From 2 million, now it is 4 plus million. So it is growing. How many countries we are in now? 154. The products are going. But where we have office, like this office you have in PJ, or you have an office in Alostar or any other places, and like in Dubai we have office which is a headquarter for the Gulf. I'm talking about physical office. It is something like about 45 offices where we have DXN office. So number 1 is matching with the philosophy or the principle of being in a business in which you will be successful. Number 2, the product has to be unique. Is Ganoderma lucidum lion's mane, is it a unique product, or is it common which you find it in the street? No, very unique. So what you have to understand is our product, if it is unique, you should present it in that way, not in a way like any other product. This used to be the food for the king and emperors of Japan and China. We know that. Are we presenting it in that way? No. If there is something really very, very expensive, like you go and buy a Rolls Royce car, or even Mercedes car. Have you seen how the salesperson is dressed up and how he comes to you and how he talks to you? Because he knows that you are an important client. He's selling a Mercedes for maybe 300,000 or 400,000 ringgit. That's what the price is, or it is less. 500,000, 500,000 ringgit. So our product is unique too. Number 3, what did I say? Number 3. The product or the service has to be consumable. So ours is product, so the product has to be consumable, which you are using. Now, all the products that we have, are they consumable? DXN? Whether it's RGGL, the spirulina, or roselle syrup, or Morenzi, or soap, or toothpaste. All the product, you are using it. Now, why did he say the product has to be consumable? Is whenever the product finish and the product is giving benefit to the people, you have to buy the product again. Like for example, you like coffee, 3-in-1, most of the people love it. Or you like the health product, or you like the soap or the toothpaste. You are using whatever the brand, but now you are using this one. Why? Because it is giving the health benefit. So number 4 is health. Most of our products are natural, and our Ganoderma is 100% organic. We have got an organic certificate. Right or wrong? Organic farm? Right? So you know the whole world, I was traveling Malaysian Airlines, and I was reading the going places. You travel? Have you traveled in Malaysian Airlines? Got a magazine? So in that I was reading an article on well-being. Every issue of this magazine, whether it is yours or whether it is Lufthansa or whether it's Emirates, they have got a chapter called well-being. So people are getting aware of how to be fit. Exercise, good food, which you are having already, but not too much of food, less food. Well, you know, always doctor says, when I say doctor, Dr. Lim, I mean, there are so many doctors. Dr. Lim says, one meal is good enough. You heard this? One meal theory? And the food has to be alkaline. He said that also. And he says that the product, that the food that you are eating, chew it well. We are in a hurry to have our food and all. So the product is all related to your health. So I'll give you one tip for the newcomers. When people talk, why should I change my toothpaste or the soap or the tea that I was taking from such a long time to your product? What is the answer that you should give? The answer should be very simple. The answer is, whatever you are taking, if the person is health conscious, have you ever read the label? For example, toothpaste. It has got saccharin and it's got coloring agent, it has got all kind of chemicals inside. If the person is educated, definitely he has read the... most of us, we buy the product without reading the labels. You go to the supermarket and you just buy the product. Because why? Because our pocket does not allow us. We look at the price. Oh, this is 2 ringgit. Let's go to the next one. This is 1.5 ringgit. And the next one, 1.4, and this is the cheapest. Let's get this 1.4 ringgit one. So if it is a 5 ringgit, so they are not just making money, but you read the label. Why it is 5 ringgit and 1.4 ringgit? If you are buying a Mercedes for 500,000 ringgit and you buy another car for less than maybe 50,000 ringgit, you have a car 50,000 ringgit or less? Less also 20,000, 25,000, 30,000 ringgit? What is the difference between this 30,000 ringgit car and 500,000 ringgit car? What is the difference? Forget about the quality. Quality is one. Safety is number one. Safety. The car hits you from the side or from the back. Some Mercedes has got more than 10 airbags. It's not only for you or the driver, but it has got airbags all around. Plus it has got steel rods all around. It's just not a normal car. Safety is one, quality is... What else? Features. It has got things... for example, in Canada we have got a lot of rain. Sometimes it is called Raincouver. Not Vancouver, Raincouver. Out of 12 months, 6 months it's rain. And this Mercedes, most of it, it has got sensors. So sometimes you're driving, you said, okay, I will put it on, I'll put it on the wiper. The wiper starts automatically. Can you imagine that? Just for safety reasons, so that the visibility is good. So the product which is giving the health, you or your family, you have to make sure that you use it for a long time. And the fifth one is money. You have to, all the Nepalis who have come, you have come for money only. Because Nepal is equally beautiful country. Mr. Lee, you went over there a few months back, right? And you saw, did you go to Pokhara? You saw Pokhara. So such a beautiful lake and hotels and beautiful people, very humble people. I love Nepalis in the subcontinent. I go to India, I go to Pakistan, Bangladesh, I said Nepal is number one. You know why I say Nepal is number one? Not because it has got Mount Everest. Because you got beautiful. Place is made beautiful because of the people. Yesterday I mentioned the same thing, that amongst the Muslim country, I say that Malaysia is number one. Because the way they have gone through the process. The other thing is they are very hardworking and industrious people. Mr. Lee just mentioned, not from Malaysian line, he is doing business with the Malaysian people, but his 10th level diamond is from Nepal, not from Malaysian line. Whereas you should have had it from Malaysia, not from Nepal line. That is because those people, they are really geared up. And I'll give you, I was there just about a few months back in Nepal. And when I go, I always compare from my last trip to this trip, how the company has moved in DXN. So I went a few years back and then now I went. Can you imagine? Let me ask the front bench, not you, you are gone. Tajuddin, when did you go to Nepal? Actually, you have already gone. What about Marandi? Their sale was something like about 40 to 50 lakhs Nepali rupees. This is, I think 2007 or 2008 when I went. Before the crisis, the world crisis took place, in the financial crisis. Before that, the sale was very less. Can you imagine what is the sale today? How many times they have gone up? Give me some wild guess. The sale can become double, can become triple, quadruple, 5 times. It is 3.5 crore rupees per month, from 50 lakhs to, in fact, 7 times, not 5 times, 7 times. Now you must be curious, what is I don't know the sale of Malaysia, but whatever the sale is, if it becomes 7 times more, so if you are getting say 20,000 ringgit, so you will be getting 7 times more money. And the best thing that the DXN does is that you have a leverage to help many people. How did they manage it? It is because when the world was having this crisis, like the Gulf countries is still coming out, as worst was hit was Dubai, but they're coming out of it. I don't know how much it has hit Malaysia, especially the construction and other things, but it had hit the whole world. Those people who were fired means go back home from the Gulf, they all came back. And the first thing that I asked was, last time that I was here last year, there was a very active, very energetic guy called Pukar, and he's not here because he's gone back. I met him when I was in Nepal. I thought that he's come on vacation because there are so many people like now. So I didn't ask him, I just met him, how are you doing? He said, sir, I'm doing good, and I've opened up a service center. I said, congratulations. So can you imagine, the service center in Nepal was hardly about 28 or 29. And today, the service center is 70. And people who came from the Gulf, mostly. I don't know how many people went from Malaysia, but I know quite a lot of the leaders who were diamond, who went back and opened a service center. Because those people who were there in the Gulf, they got a professional training. And when they went back, they used that training to enhance their business, their service center. So every service center did about 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 30 lakhs. So the sale went 7 times more than when I was there last time. So 3.5 crore. Do you have any idea the population of Nepal? It is less than Malaysia. Around the same, 23, 24 million. 26 plus. So imagine, with that little population, and people are, going out basically, out to work. And now these people are coming back happily, no problem. I'm getting 2,000 or 3,000 ringgit or real, so I'm getting, it is much more because they have their house. The sale just shot up. So when I went to India, I said, what is your population? It is 1.2 billion. So if you do a little calculation, 1.2 billion to the profit in DXN, and 25 million and their profit in DXN is much higher, much higher in Nepal. So you're lucky people. So if Ligi Cow can do it, I'm sure a lot of people can do it. I came to know there are 400,000 Nepalis working in your country, in Malaysia, right? 400,000 is a lot of people. And I also came to know there are a few thousand who are members. About what, 19,000? Or somebody to give me some figure. Maybe 40,000. And imagine when you get 40,000 Nepalis, you have helped so many. Either for them to think to go back or to have a better life and get a house, and you can go back wherever you are and you can get the money from here. What beautiful system we have. So what was the number 4? Consumable health product. And number 5 is direct selling, or now since I'm addressing the people, everybody is a member, or there are some people who are new over here? Everybody is a member. What is the meaning of DXN? Anybody who is new over here? Nobody. Everybody is a member. Oh, we have. You see, always there is, in such a big crowd, we have got 1, 2, 3, 4 people who are new. So whosoever has brought you, uske saath aap baitho, you sit down with him and find out what is DXN. But I'm going to give you my experience of how it changed my life, but more important is the life of the people whom I saw in my last 8 years. So what is leverage? Anybody who can define leverage? Not the front bench. The front bench, of course, they have been talking to the people about leverage. I will say, for example, if I am owner of, what is this building called Petronas Tower, right? Now, how many people are working in Petronas Tower? Anybody has got idea? Anybody working in Petronas? It has got thousands of workers, right? Okay. For example, I'm the owner. For example, I'm not the owner. Anyway, you can imagine if I am the owner and I have got, say, 55,000 people working. 55,000 people working. Okay? And every worker or every person works for 8 hours. You work for 8 hours over here or 10 hours? 8 hours. So forget about those who are doing extra time. I'm talking about normal time. So 55,000 multiplied by 8. So you can imagine, or 50,000 multiplied by 8 is how much? Is 400,000 hours. Can I work 400,000? I am the CEO of the company. Can I work? No, I cannot work. And if I calculate this, then I have to work for many, many years. Or maybe I cannot work in my lifetime. That is called leverage. I have 10 people who work for 8 hours, 80 hours. I have 100 people, they work for 8 hours, 800. So why these companies, they go up, is the way they work very intelligently. And they make sure they use the power of leverage. And Dr. Charles King said, if you want to be in a business, he did not use all these words, fancy words, affiliate marketing and relationship marketing and multi-level marketing and network marketing and whatever marketing. He said leverage marketing. Where just like the people who are having that big company with big money, they are using those people who are working to become more and more and more rich. So in DXN, once again, I say, like Mr. Yahya. Is Yahya here today? Yahya? No, not so many Yahya. I mean, the Yahya who opened up India, and from India, I think Indonesia and Philippines and whole of the Gulf. I'm also in his downline. So you can imagine, you're talking about more than 2 million people. 2 million people, out of that at least 50,000 are using toothpaste. Minimum. That is the power of leverage. But use your head how this concept was brought in. And you know the concept was brought in by a lady. If you have read that book, you please read this direct selling news. Is it available over here in Malaysia for sale? Direct selling news. This is a blue magazine from USA. If you have not, then you please bring it. You can always buy that book. That's a magazine basically. The number one company is 126 years old. They brought this concept of leverage. Because at that time in America, the women did not have the same right as men. So they said what to do. The men are always, overpowering us. So let's start a women's business. So that was a cosmetic business. And that is number one company today. And we are, very proudly we can say, in 17 years, become 40th company in the world. This is a big achievement for DXN, thanks to Dr. Lim, Prior to that, thanks to Allah for giving us this opportunity, and thanks to all of the members who have made it the 40th top company in the world.